Hello and welcome to Amigos IAS. I am Adnan. In today's segment, we'll be discussing Women's Reservation Bill. So it's a big news because today in the new parliament, this first bill was introduced. So it is a historic occasion, as the Prime Minister has said. So what is this proposed bill? Let us try to understand in this class. So this bill has been given the number of 128 Constitution Amendment Bill. We have to understand that in the past it was 108th Constitution Amendment Bill. Now it is tabled because that bill has lapsed after the government at that time had ended. So that means now we are going to give a fresh name for the new bill, which is 128th Amendment Bill. So Law Minister Arjun Ram Meghwal today in the afternoon introduced this bill in the Lok Sabha. This bill is also having a Hindi title called Nari Shakti Vandan Adhiniyam. So this is the text of this particular or title of this particular bill. So this bill proposes what? 33% of seats were in Lok Sabha and state legislative assemblies. So please pay attention here. Applicable to Rajya Sabha, it is not applicable to the legislative councils of states, only for Lok Sabha and state legislative assemblies, as well as Delhi Legislative Assembly also. We are reserving these seats for women, 33%. So it will take effect when? Very important point, it is not going to come up in 2024 next year elections. Okay, it is going to be the 18th Lok Sabha elections. No, it is not going to come at that time, because in India we have something called as delimitation, which is a redrawal of the boundaries of constituencies. Sometimes you will be adding certain seats or removing certain seats or adjusting the seats or the constituencies. Now this has been frozen till 2026. That means after 2026 we have to conduct a census, which could be 2027 or 2031. Why not 2031? Because 2021 census is yet to be completed, is yet to start. So what happens? Because of COVID, we have postponed this census of 2021. So now we have to wait for next census. When it is going to happen, we as of now, we don't have proper information. Whatever it is, till 2026, delimitation has been frozen. So that means women reservation in the Lok Sabha and the assemblies will not be applicable in 2024 elections. It will be applicable after 2026. We have to conduct a census, maybe 2027, and then if possible from 2029 this women reservation will be applicable. Very important point, please do note. And this reservation will end 15 years after the commencement. For example, if we introduce reservation from 2029, so add 15 years after this, after 15 years of this particular year, the reservation will be expiring. So we call this as sunset clause. Sunset clause means any kind of bill which has a termination period. Okay, that is called as sunset clause. So sunset clause is there in the past 108th Amendment Bill, and now in 128th Amendment Bill also we have taken the same sunset clause, which says that reservation will expire after 15 years from when it has come into effect. So before going into this particular topic, what this bill talks about, let us have a very quick recap of the timeline of this particular bill. The genesis goes, if we talk about post-independent India, after 1996, Devegowda government tries to attempt it. Again, for our UPSC mains perspective, the entire nitty-gritties of which government passed, what happened, will not be usually required. So just timeline a little bit is important here. First attempt happens in 1996. That means now it is 2023. How many years it has been? Roughly 27 years. So 27 years since its inception. Now today we are seeing some action on this particular bill. But because of lack of majority for Devegowda government, it collapses. Vajpayee government again introduces the bill in 1999 and also in 2002. But because of lack of majority, the bill will not be able to be passed. So these are the three important times. Then the UPA government will try to bring this women reservation bill. So what happens is 2008, they will try to table the bill and it is sent to the parliamentary standing committees. It will give the report in 2009 and finally 2010, the bill is passed by Rajya Sabha. But no attempts are made to introduce the bill in Lok Sabha. As a result, after the end of 15th Lok Sabha, okay, that is 2009 to 2014. 14, after the end of this Lok Sabha lapsed, the bill also has lapsed. So as of now, the bill is not there. That's why a fresh bill has been introduced in Lok Sabha. Very important point. So remaining all these things we have to wait and watch. See the last point here. For the bill to become a law, it will have to be introduced and passed by both the houses, and then it has to be passed by half of state legislatures. Now this is somewhat contentious. I'll just get back to this very soon. So, what is the status? Statistics are important for us for our mains answer to be giving the important argument that why we require women reservation. So, let us look at some statistics. Many states have low representation of women legislators in their assemblies. That means less than 9% is the average. If we see overall India and all the assemblies of India, state assemblies across all the India, if we see MLAs, it is how much national average is actually 14%, 14-15% national average. But if you see it is less than this, it is around 9% only. Only 9% of MLAs are women MLAs in India across the states. And if you see the overall Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, how much it is? 14% after 76 years of independence also. And our rank is how much? 143 out of 193 countries across the world. So which are not good statistics. More on this. Pakistan 20%, Bangladesh 21%, Nepal 34%. Our neighbors have more women representation in their legislatures, but India does not have. Even USA also has 32% representation of women in their legislature. So it means high time India should introduce women reservation, because even though we allow equal opportunity, it is not resulting into equal outcome. Fine. Out of the 543 Lok Sabha constituencies in India in 2019, the last general elections, around 48.4%, that means almost a half of the constituencies have never voted a woman MP since 1962. Quite shocking statistic it is. That means almost half the constituencies of India have never chosen a woman MP since 1962. If we see the Constituent Assembly of India, we had 15 women representatives before the India's independence. Fine. So that means very glaring statistics are there. As per World Economic Forum Global Gender Gap Report, this year India has of course has marginally improved its rank, but still it is 127 out of 146 countries. You can use these particular statistics or facts in your answers to present or strengthen your argument that why women reservation is very essential in India. And if you go to this text of this bill, I'm just showing you, okay, maybe it's quite not easily visible. I'll be having the final details of this bill just in a couple of minutes. So this is the proposed bill. As you can see, Constitution 128th Amendment Bill, and it is talking about some important points here. Okay, so I'll be just coming back to this. Objective of the bill is what? Because women represent half the population, we want to utilize their talents. Nari Shakti, women empowerment is very important goal. And government says that we need to give chance for women to participate in decision making bodies like legislatures. So India's goal is what? This is the Amrit Kal, and in this Amrit Kal, India wants to become a developed country in its 100th year of independence. Vikasit Bharat is our goal. Okay, so in this Amrit Kal, we want to have Vikasit Bharat. Government says in the bill, realization of the goal requires what? Contribution of every sector of society, every person also. All sections, Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, Sabka Vishwas, Sabka Prayas. Everybody's effort is required for us. That means women's role is very important to realize this goal of Vikasit Bharat. That is what is the government's motto here. Fine. And what are the important provisions of the bill? The important provisions are, see, 1/3 of seats in Lok Sabha and Assembly, 33% of reservation already we discussed. This will not apply to Rajya Sabha and state legislative councils, already we discussed. Within the quota, 1/3 of the seats are reserved for SCs and STs. That means another important critical point here. For SCs and STs, already we are having certain quota. For example, 84 seats in for SCs and 47 for ST already reserved in our parliament, and also in the state legislatures also we have reserved the seats. In those quota of seats, we are having again a sub quota. Horizontal reservation is there now. Quota within quota. So within that quota of SC ST, we are having 1/3 of seats for women. Please note this point. The quota is implemented only after the first delimitation. Just now we discussed this point. Redrawing of the constituencies, again a controversial topic because South states are not happy with delimitation because their populations have stabilized, and the northern states of India have more population. They will be getting more number of seats. That is another topic for another day. So they'll be drawn after what census? I told you 2021 census has not been completed, so we don't know when it is going to happen. Speculations are coming that government may have census in 2027. If not, definitely by 2031 census we have to have. So that is one thing here. So that means 2024, no women reservation as of now. Very important point. Let us go to the next one. The bill does not include reservation for OBCs. Please note, for SCs and STs only we are noting it. In the past, the women reservation bill had hit some roadblocks because the parties like Rashtriya Janata Dal, okay, Samajwadi Party, Janata Dal United, these parties were saying that we want OBC reservation. Even Sharad Yadav, who is no more, he also has quoted one point that saying women with short hair should not be, dominating the parliament. We need backward women to be actually there in the parliament. So please give OBC reservation also for women. Even now also that point has not been accepted. Fine. So Articles 239 double A, 330 capital A, 332 capital A are the important changes which we are going to bring. This is for Delhi, special provisions, okay? And 330 capital A talks for SC/STs in the Lok Sabha, in the state legislatures. So for this we have to make some amendments because apart from the 334 also is there. Please note, for Delhi we are going to bring this particular amendment and introduce a clause, and 330 already is there. We are adding one more clause by saying that in the Lok Sabha we are going to give reservation for women. 332 capital A, again SC/STs, okay, for the state legislatures. It is for Lok Sabha, we are reserving seats for SC/STs. This is for the state legislatures, we are reserving the seats for SC/STs. So there in those particular articles, we are adding another clause, clause A, clause capital A, clause capital A. 334 capital A also we are adding. What is 334 capital A? That means this says reservation for SC/ST will continue till 80 years from the date of the commencement of constitution. This was brought by 104th amendment. Again, I repeat, in the beginning of the constitution, reservation was granted for 10 years. But every 10 years, what we are doing, we are having a constitutional amendment to Article 334. For what purpose? We are saying that more 10 years reservation for SC/ST will be there. Now, in this article, we also added one more clause to say that because we are adding women aspect here also, so reservation will be there or more and more for coming years. For example, 104th amendment says till 80 years, means what? From 1950 we have to add 80 years, means till 2030 reservations will be there for the SC/ST. So there we are adding some more change. Fine. So 239 capital double A, okay, 330A, 332A new articles, and 334 capital A proposed constitutional amendments. Please note. Okay. So until Parliament may determine by law, these reservations may exist. But they also added a clause that the bill will be in force for 15 years after becoming an act. But see, its term can be extended. So again, like the past SC/ST, it may be extended by seeing the progress of women representation. Seats reserved for women will be rotated after delimitation. Now, this is an interesting point. Delimitation is done usually after every census. So after delimitation, what we are going to do, we are going to again rotate the seats of women. For example, if a constituency A is reserved for women now, after delimitation, it will be available for women. Means reservation. Of course, anybody can contest. But if I reserve the seat again, now it is going for B. B earlier was unreserved, but now it is reserved for women. That is, rotation of constituencies will happen. Now, issues. What are the issues here? Last slide. Okay. Divergent views are there because some people say, see, this kind of reservation, affirmative action is important for women because women have already in the panchayats 1.4 million women representatives. Almost half the representatives in the panchayats, the local bodies, municipalities are women. And as sarpanch, as representatives in those local bodies, women have taken a lot of initiatives for drinking water, development agendas. Women have worked to eradicate this menace of liquor. So they have already proved their skills. Despite the concept of sarpanch pati or pradhan pati, still women have exercised good powers because of the constitutionally mandated 73rd, 74th Amendment in 1992 granted 33% reservation for women in the local bodies. Because local bodies are states, more than 20 states of India have given around 50% reservation for women. So it means almost half, even now also, women are there in the local bodies representation. So they have already done a great role. So why not enhance this participation is a question. Okay, so positive effect will be there for empowerment of women because women also allocate resources properly and there is less corruption as statistics say. Fine. Opponents will say no, it is going to perpetuate unequal status because you are saying women cannot contest on merit alone and you need to give some kind of affirmative action for them. This policy diverts attention from the larger issues like criminalization of politics, inner party democracy, which is again not there in Indian political parties. You are diverting the issue of actual reforming of political parties and going towards reservation is another argument here. It restricts choice of voters because sometimes women, if you are capable or not, still because the seat is reserved for women, so you have no other choice in that constituency to vote for those women. They may not be capable, but they are just there because of the formality. That is another point here, restriction of choice of voters. So they told what, let us have reservation in political parties and dual member constituencies. The political parties itself, while giving tickets to contestants, better they give reservation. For example, if a political party says already uh, Biju Janata Dal in Odisha is doing it. It reserves certain amount of seats allocation or tickets allocation for the women. Already they are implementing this. Why not other parties also do this while giving tickets for contestants to contest in various constituencies? Allot a quota for women. That is better than having a constituency reserved for women because it restricts women's choices. Sorry, voters' choices. Hope you understand the finer details here. And what is dual member constituency? Another proposal is that in same constituency there should be two MPs or MLAs. One is a male, other is a female or woman. That is what is a proposal here. But if you do this, many times chances are there that you are going to give in for example, if a constituency is there where a male is very powerful and you a very powerless role to a female in the same constituency, this danger also is there. And sometimes you are purposefully choosing a constituency for women, okay, dual member constituency where women has less chance to win in the election and the male has more chance to win the election. So these problems and loopholes also are there if we consider the proposal of what, dual member constituencies. Rotation of reserved constituencies means reducing the incentive for an MP to work in his constituency. Now imagine a constituency is there under a person called A, and that person knows that definitely after delimitation that seat is going to become women's reserve seat. So why should that person invest for long term in that particular constituency if he or she if he knows that that seat is now going to be reserved for women because of rotation of constituencies? So this is also another danger. Fine. So many such things keep coming up. All these issues talk about like what are the challenges we are going to face if we give reservation for women. Some people say that some men may actually promote their wives or any member of their family in the reserved constituencies to conduct, and they may be ruling by proxy. Again, keeping all these issues aside, it shows a very important positive step for women empowerment by making women as partners in development. Now, a question I have to come back at the end of this class is whether this requires ratification by state legislatures. In general, women reservation bill need not get ratification by the state legislatures. As per special amendment, special majority is required as per Article 368. So the changes which this bill is trying to bring, okay, 330 capital A, 332 capital A, 334 capital A, this necessarily does not require any kind of ratification by state legislatures. Every 10 years, we are passing the reservation for the SC/STs without requiring the states to also ratify them. So similarly, this women reservation bill may also not require the ratification by state legislatures. But the important detail here is, are we going to change the way we are allocating the seats? Because now delimitation also is going to come in the picture. If delimitation comes, definitely here the states will also come into picture, because what are reserved, what seats are rotated, any changes in the number of allocated seats, are we just giving just women reservation or are we adding or deleting some seats? This will require the ratification by state legislatures. So that details we have to wait and watch for the future. As of now, no, it does not require the constitutional amendment or ratified by the half state legislatures. As of now, simple, okay, simple means like special majority constitutional amendment as per Article 368 will be enough. special majority is required. But if it is further going to change the allocation of seats for the states, if it is going to add a few seats or remove a few seats, then we need to wait and watch of the considered amendment that may require ratification by state legislature. So this is what is the final details about the current bill. Any other points will be there in the coming future. Definitely I'll be updating in the classes. If you have any questions, please do post in the comments below. I will see you another day. Thank you.